Good afternoon, everyone. It's 4 o'clock, and we're going to get started with our Google Drive training. I want to welcome you. I'm Ed Considine from Boston Public Schools. I'm a digital learning specialist within our OIT department. And Liz Holman is online as well. She's a digital learning specialist, and I just want Liz to have a chance to say hi. Please introduce yourself, Liz.
Hi everybody, my name is Liz Holman. I'm going to join without video for the most part today, but I'm going to go ahead and be in the chat. And if you haven't found the chat, you're going to want to go to learn.mybps.org. Ed's going to show you how to find the course here in a second by sharing his screen and showing you how to get there, but you'll want to go into BPS Learns if you haven't already gotten yourself there and get into the chat, and I will be there fielding questions or jumping in every once in a while if there are things that I want to add to whatever Ed is saying, but for the most part he's going to be leading the show today. I'm a digital learning specialist. I'm new to Boston. I'm having fun getting to know everybody and helping everybody integrate more tech into their teaching, and I'm glad to be here today. Thanks, Ed.
Thanks, Liz. And folks, I want to welcome everybody again on this great Boston snow day, snow week it seems like we've had this winter in the last couple of weeks. But we're all in a good mood. We have plenty of time to stay home, get warm, get shoveled out, and hopefully learn too, because as we're trying to promote here as digital learning specialists, educators, and BPS, we're learners, and online learning like these webinars give us an opportunity to carry on learning anywhere, anytime. So I want to do as Liz suggested. We're going to first take a look at our BPS Learn site. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to share my entire screen so we can see our our BPS site. And we're going to take you into the BPS Learn site. The digital learning videos, there was a link to this site in the email, in the newsletter that we sent out, or the reminder of this hangout. But if you are new and you didn't receive that, you can go to BPS Learns and log on with your Boston Public Schools ID number and password and go to the technology page and our technology bucket and see which courses we have available to us. And I'll just take you there quickly. If you're new to this site, this is our digital learning site, and if you go under technology, you'll see a list of courses there, and that will be our digital learning team videos there. Let's see, there it is there. And again, it brings us right to it. And Liz is going to be using a chat. One of the nice features of this this digital learning site is that we have the opportunity to engage with you while we're doing this presentation. And there's a chat here. I'm just going to show you the forum here. And so we can click to enter the chat, and Liz will be monitoring the chat. So please feel free to ask questions. I see we have a couple of people in there already. It's nice to have you in there. Dee Dee, nice to see you in there. And we'll get started with my part of the presentation on Google Drive. And again, thanks, Liz, for answering questions in the chat. I love talking about Google Drive. I think that since Boston Public Schools went Google Apps for Education and gives all the educators and all the students access to Google, we have a great opportunity to collaborate, to share, and to store our documents in a cloud-based drive. So that's the first thing I want to talk about today, and what Google Drive is and what a cloud-based drive is. We all may be used to using the hard drive on our computer. Many people who have been around BPS for a while are used to using the H drive or other special school drives. And the thing about those drives is they are limited access to those drives. For example, the H drive is only accessible within the BPS network. Your hard drive is only accessible on that particular computer. What cloud-based drives do, and especially what Google does, it gives us access to a drive on any mobile device, on any computer, laptop, or desktop, and allows us to save things in a very secure, multi-service, and in a very secure way for storing and accessing our files. Drives can store files of any types, including PDFs, audio files, Word documents, presentations. I mentioned video and audio files. And it can also store folders, so you can organize your drive just like you would your file cabinet, or organize your hard drive or your other drives that you've used in the past. So I want to go into sort of what Drive does for us as educators here in Boston, and how you can learn some real functional uses of Drive. And don't forget to, I'll pause and just make sure that you're asking questions to Liz, and that you feel you're in the chat okay. If you have any problems with seeing the video, I'm sure Liz can help you with that also. Okay, I'm going to go into Drive now and talk about how we can access the different types of apps that are available in Drive. I'm on the left side of my window here, and that's the left side navigation panel. And you can see I can create a new document here in Drive, and I'm just going to take you down the panel just briefly. Google Drive allows me to access a new folder. I can upload a new folder, I can upload a file, or I can create a new folder or upload one that I already have in an existing place. It could be on a thumb drive, it could be on a hard drive. When we all talked about backing up files from our MacBook as we got ready to receive our new MacBook Pro, people were wondering how they should back up their files, and Google Drive is a great way to back up your files. You can put things in a folder and upload your folders completely. The great thing about Google Drive is there's unlimited capacity. As part of our Google Apps for Education program, we have unlimited capacity for Drive. And I think that our capacity per individual file is about 25 megabytes, and we can verify that at another time. But it's a pretty significant size for uploading and saving individual files on your computer. So in addition to working with folders in Google Drive, you also have a suite of tools called Google Docs, Sheets, Slides, and a couple of other things, the Google Forms and Drawings. Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides are things that we are already familiar with if we've used the Microsoft suite. Google Docs is primarily a word processing tool. Google Sheets is primarily a spreadsheet. Slides is equivalent to a Microsoft presentation. And Forms is the tool that's a little more unique, but if you're used to using any type of surveying tools, like what are some of the tools out there? SurveyMonkey is one that comes to mind, but Google Forms allows you to do surveys or quick polls, and the results are stored directly in a Google spreadsheet. So you have a questionnaire and those results coming in. So there's lots of potential for using Google Forms in the classroom and in school organization, reaching out to parents, and at a later series, since this is just covering very basic Google Drive, we will be covering some more advanced uses of things like forms in the classroom and schools in a later series, and Liz will be presenting that. I just want to remind you to ask questions in the forum, and Liz is there ready to answer your questions.
So I just want to make sure I say, everybody, you can go ahead and go into the chat if you can find it. Hopefully everybody's in BPS Learns and you're able to see the chat. I have a couple people who have jumped in and out, but I haven't gotten any questions yet. So we'll just keep moving forward. And if you have questions, you can go into the chat. You can also shoot one of us an email if you're having any issues with the broadcast. You can email ed@econsidine@Boston Public Schools or me at ehoman@Boston Public Schools. Go ahead, Ed.
Thanks, Liz. I'll get right back into Drive. We talked about creating a new document, and before I go into actually creating a new folder document, I want to take you more down the left side navigation panel, because it's really important that you sort of understand the navigation of Google Drive so that it becomes an efficient place for you to work, not one that can be overwhelming. With the amount of folders and files that we share with each other that we get sent via emails as attachments, sometimes it's hard to manage all our files. What I like about Drive is that when you get an email as an attachment, you can immediately upload it to Drive. If you want to send something from your Drive, you can access your Drive right from your email and send something like that right from your Drive. So I'll show that in a moment. We're going to go through some of our Drive options right now. So This is my drive, and you can see I have it organized into folders. I carried over a lot of things from my other Google Drive before when Google asked for education. So I have a lot of resources that I've accumulated over the years, and I like to organize them according to the folders. And here's my drive on the right side. You can see it just opens it up a little bit. It starts out with my folders on top, and I'm just scrolling down. Hopefully it's not making you dizzy. But at the end of it, I can see also my documents too. And so I have all sorts of Word documents, PDFs, PowerPoint presentations that can be converted to Google Docs right upon upload, but it will upload any type of document. Your PDFs, your PowerPoints are easy to upload and to store in your drive. And that's my drive. When we use Google Drive on a regular basis, people might share something with me, and that is we have a working team. We're constantly sharing documents. So the incoming, if you've used Google Drive before, this was the shared with me folder or area, and now it's called incoming. And you can see that Liz and I share a lot of documents with each other, as it does our other members on Diane Hauser of our digital learning team sharing documents with me. If I go down to recent, I like this because if I'm working on something today, I know that I can access it easily tomorrow or later tonight in my recent area, and these are my most recent documents. You can see I've been working on some things this afternoon, and these are my most recent documents. Starred ones, when you're working on a document, you can right-click on things, and I'll show you how to do that a little bit later. If I wanted to star something, I can right-click on it and add a star to it, and that means it's extra important, or I want to come back to it, whatever a star may mean to you. When you do star it, it'll appear up in this starred menu, so you can sort of create a category of important things like that. Right-clicking on a document, on any document, does open up this sub-menu where you can get a link to the document, share it with people, move it, rename it, etc. There's lots of things you can do in the right from a right-click within a document. Excuse me. So as far as creating a document goes in Drive, as I said earlier, we're going to create a new document today. And I'm going to just start out with a very basic document, and that is a Google Doc. And I'm going to call it appropriately today Snow Day. And that's the first thing you want to do is name your document. And I should do plural actually, because who knows how many snow days we're going to have so far. We have a few already. But Snow Days is the name of this document, and snow days are coming on left and right. Let's just do a. We didn't think we were going to have any snow this winter, and all of a sudden we're getting walloped with 2 big storms in the last week. Hopefully everyone's enjoying the days off. So like Google Doc, I know that I have this editor here, much like our Microsoft Word or other word processing programs. We can have that option of formatting text. So I can highlight my text here, and I can change the size of it. I can go up to a 14 font and change the type of font it is and highlight it in a different color. And sometimes, you might want to center it and align it. You have the options that you have in many word processing programs, spacing and alignment issues as well. So it's nice the way you can bullet things, and you have a pretty rich text editor in Google Docs. And right now I'm just going to highlight the color of my text and turn it to blue. And one of the things that we like to do when we're collaborating with people is to share a document. And if I wanted somebody to look over an essay I was working on or a proposal for something, I would often have to send it as an attachment to an email, and they might type on it on the sides and tell me what their changes were. But Google Docs make it so much easier to share, to edit, and to revise things with another person, and essentially to collaborate. And that is simply done by sharing. And there are a couple of ways we can share. I can do a particular share, and I can do this to a person right here. I can chat this to share it with Liz Homan. And now I have the options when I'm sharing a document to give certain control over that sharing. I can allow Liz to edit, to comment, or to view. And I can, in this case, I'm going to allow Liz to edit this document. If any of you know Liz, you know that she would have it no other way. She loves to write and loves to critique, so she's a great team member in terms of supporting our writing. So I'm going to share that with Liz. But before I do, there's another option. There's another option that I can do. And if I want to share a document with a large group of people, or I want to post a link to this document somewhere, I can get a link to it, and I can say, you see that up here it says people at Boston Public Schools with the link can view. I can change that. Again, I can edit, comment, or view. But in this case, if I'm sharing it with a large audience and I just want to present some information, then I want to just allow them to view the document. And I'm going to copy that link, and I could post that link anywhere I like. And I'll show you what, that link can appear right here. And there, I'm just going to paste it right there. And that's the link. I could also do something like this, highlight that link, and type in a word there, check out this link if this was a document. So there, Liz has permission already. If I want to just embed that link there, I went up here to the menu bar where this is insert a link, and I made a couple of words, check out this link, and now those words become hypertext, and we'll link that link embedded in it, and it becomes an embeddable. Liz, we've gotten a couple of emails. I haven't had a chance to look at my email, something about the chat. So I'm just going to pause for a second and see if there are any questions. And I'm going to check my email and see what kind of questions people might be having. So while I'm doing that, I'm going to turn it over to Liz. I'm going to click on Liz, and she's going to be able to share her screen with you as I check my email. So thank you, Liz.
Okay, thank you. And I'm going to go ahead and take over a little bit, show you a couple other things so that we can make sure that everybody's able to get in. I am seeing some people over in the chat window, which is fantastic. Let me turn my video on so that you can see me. Is it working? There it is. Hi, everybody. So we did, hi Belinda said, maybe we should start with how to get into the chat. We tried to show you how to get into the chat when we first got started, but it looks like people are finding their way in, which is great. And we are seeing some people show up in BPS Learns. So I'm going to go back over to the doc that Ed had started and show you a couple other features from within a document. If somebody shares a document with you and you open it up maybe from your email and you see it, you're like, okay, I'm in this document, now what do I do with it? How do I make sure that it's in my drive? How do I make sure that it's organized where I want it to be? One good thing to know about a document is once you've opened it up, you can actually decide where in your drive it goes from right there within the document. A really handy little thing that a lot of people don't necessarily know about or know to click on is this little folder icon that's up in the corner. So let me share my screen and show this to you. I'm going to screen share. And this is the doc that Ed had just started and showed you how to share with somebody. He has shared it with me. And this little folder icon up here in the left-hand corner, this is a really helpful thing to know about, and it's kind of hidden in Google Drive. You don't always necessarily see it sitting there. So if you click on that little folder, it pops up with your entire drive organization. And if your drive is not very organized right now, this is something that you might want to go back and work on, organizing your files in your drive. A lot of people had Google Drive. They didn't think, I should organize this when they first got it, and now they have a Google Drive that confuses them. And so we'll talk about searching tools and ways you can find documents once they're in there so that you can organize them. And we'll deal with that a little bit more in our next webinar, because we're going to talk a lot about organizing files and organizing your drive in our next webinar. But if you ever have a file and you want to make sure that you don't lose it and you want to move it into a folder of things that you know are going to be retrievable for you later, then click on that little folder in the upper left-hand corner and it will pull up a window like this one, which has all of the folders that are in your drive. As you can see, I have lots of folders in my Google Drive. And then you can choose which folder you want to put it in. So let's say I want to put this snow days document in my home folder. So I would click on my home folder. I would tell it to move that document to my home folder, and then later I can go back and look in that folder and this document should be right there. So that's one really easy way to organize things. Another way is you can go into File and you can say Move to Folder, and that's another obvious way to do it. As Ed had pointed out, you can rename a file from within this file system. You can download the file as a Word document. You can download it as a PDF if you need to download it that way. You can download it even as a web page, or you can publish it to the web, and that will actually create a sort of web page out of your document. This is really helpful if you have like a form that you want to send home to parents and you just want a quick URL so that you can embed it in, say, a school web page. You can publish it to the web, and this will give you a link. You can say, yes, I definitely want to publish my snow days document, and it will give you a link here, and you can copy paste this, and it sort of works like a website or a web page. So how are we doing, Ed? Do we need to...
You continue.
Okay, I'll continue for a little while. Ed is responding to some questions over in the chat. So I'm going to actually take you back over to my drive and show you a few things about how folders are organized in case you want to go ahead and start organizing your drive, and also how to search for folders. So Ed showed you this collapsible menu over here on the left. And this is a really helpful thing to know about if you need to move a document over to a folder from within your drive. So if I'm in my drive and I find a file and I want to move it to a different folder, so let's say I go into my conferences. I went to NCTE this year, and I want to move this PDF over into a folder that I'm sharing with my colleagues, for example. So I have a folder over here for the digital learning team, and I want to move this file over into my digital learning team folder. One of the easier ways to do this is to have it highlighted here and to drag it over into the digital learning team folder, and then just drop it, and it will be in that folder. And it will prompt you and say, are you sure you want to share this file? Are you sure you want this file to be shared with everyone who is shared on that digital learning team folder? So I have to think about that. Okay, do I want everybody who's in this folder to see this thing from this conference that I went to? And the answer is yes. I'm perfectly okay with my team seeing this particular file. I want to share it with them. It's a resource I got from this conference, and I want them to see it. So I would say okay, and it would move that file over into that folder, and my team members would then be able to see it. So that's a really quick way to move anything over into another file from your drive, is to use that left-hand navigation bar. So I've showed you two different ways that you can move a file from where it currently is and organize it into another folder in your drive. One is to drag it from this main splash page over into the left-hand navigation bar in the folder you want it to be in. The other is to open the file and click on that little folder icon that's in the upper left-hand side. So those are two easy ways to move files around once you have them in your drive and they're shared. Another thing that is important to know about is incoming or shared with me. So if somebody shares something with you, lots of people get a document in their email, or they get an attachment in their email and it's shared with Drive. And they think to themselves, okay, I've got this and I looked at it in Drive, I opened it from my email and it opened it up in Drive, but now I can't find it in my Drive. That's often because it's hiding in this incoming folder, or it's hiding in your shared with me folder. So they recently changed their view, which is why this says incoming. Yours might say shared with me if you haven't switched to the new Google Drive, but they mean the same thing. So if you have incoming here, it just means somebody shared it with you. If you have shared with me, it means somebody shared it with you. But just because somebody shared it with you doesn't mean it's actually in your Google Drive. It means that they shared it with you. And so you haven't moved it into your drive yet. In order to find things really easily, the best way to do it is to move it over into your drive. So it's something you want to save, then you want to move it into Drive. And so you should find it in incoming. So Ed shared snow days with me, and I think I already organized it into my drive. So I could open it up and put it in my drive, or from here I could drag it into my drive. Well, it's not letting me drag it into my drive. Oh, right click. Oh, it's not letting me right click either. So I'll just open it. I'll do it the other way, the way I showed you before. I would just open it and click on my little organize button, and I would organize it that way. So they've changed some things. That's something else to keep in mind about Google Drive, is sometimes they update their format, their framework, and it changes the way you have to share some things. So Part of building your own literacies and being flexible in environments like this is having multiple strategies for reorganizing things like I just did. I wasn't quite sure how to do it the way I used to do it or the old way, and so I had to remember, oh right, I have this other strategy that I can use. So if something doesn't work right the first time or if they change their format, just don't get too discouraged. You might need to go back and do it the old way, or experiment with a new way to move something around. Okay, I'm going to turn it back over to Ed really quickly and have him cover a few more of the basics, and then we'll leave it for some questions for you all, see if you have any remaining questions. And then in our next session, we'll be diving into some of the more advanced features, like how to set up shared folders and how to do some of the other more complicated things in Drive and potentially begin even using it with students. So I'll turn it back over to Ed now.
Thanks, Liz. I'm going to go back, folks, to sharing my screen, my entire screen, Google Drive screen, but also showing, right now I'm showing the DLT video site. Some people might be having trouble getting in, Liz, to the chat. We've had a few people say they couldn't see it, but I think some people are trying to get into the video chat right within the Hangout. But this is a new type of format for us, so we hope that you can get in and to that chat in the DLT learning videos. Here's a little plug for BPS Learns. We have a lot of learning opportunities happening in BPS Learns, our new learning management system for Boston Public Schools, and we hope to advertise some more courses, a Google Learning series, and a web series as well on integrating tools into the classroom. So we're excited to have this new system in BPS. So, but back to our finishing up on Google Drive. Liz just talked about organization of folders, and there's so much to talk about with Google Drive and what actually Google can do for us as educators. A lot of us are exploring the new program Google Classroom, and we'll get into that in a later session as well. But Google Classroom also helps organize Google Drive folders for working with your students, and that's just a teaser. We have lots more information about Google Classroom. Feel free to Google it and look at some of the opportunities that you might have with using Google Classroom. As a Google Apps for Educator in Boston Public Schools, we all have access to Classroom, and it's a nice way to start blending learning and managing students online, and it's all based on creation of folders and collection of student work online. So one of the things that we wanted to be sure we covered, I mentioned creating new documents here in Google Drive, but we mentioned how you can upload documents, so I just want to show you how we can upload certain documents. And the types of documents we can upload, you name it, Word document, PowerPoint presentations, we can PDFs. We can also upload movie files, .mov files, and audio files as well. So you can have, as we said earlier in opening this up, that Google Drive is really a legitimate place to securely store your documents for easy access from home, from school, from your phone, from your mobile devices, and from your computers. So as we get into a new document, I'm going to see if I can find a document that I can upload. So I'm going to upload a file right here, and remember, you also have the options of uploading folders for, starting to transfer from your physical hard drive on your computer to the cloud-based storage is an option as well. Whoops, I didn't want to do that. That's a folder upload, so I'm just going to do a file upload here, an individual file. And I can go to a lot of places here, and here is a little Aspen tutorial, and this is a PDF file. So I can open this up. That's just a simple PDF file, and now it's uploading it. And when you one thing you can do in Google Drive is to, let's see, I'll see if I can open that up right now or share it with somebody. And here's the document there, and I'm going to share it with my colleague here, Liz Holman again, and there it is. I give her editing access, and let's see if we can open that document up. And this is linking Google Docs to Aspen. So now that will be in my drive, and I'm going to do a quick search for it because I want to show you. There it is there. It came up as a PDF. And one of the things that I want to do is I was able to share it, but now this document is available to me in my Google Drive. It talks about how we can use Google to set up documents for accessing through Aspen in our Aspen accounts with students for collaboration. So we are able to do that. One thing in our settings area, I think that we have the option of converting uploaded files to Google Docs editor format. So when we bring in things, a doc or anything like that, we can immediately have it upload as a Google Doc for editing. So that's one of the options, a nice option there. So I was able to upload my Aspen page, and now I'm just going to go to one other type of things to show you how that, if I want to bring in a Word document, I don't have too many Word documents later. Let's see if I have any over here. Notice you can do JPEG images, and here is a Microsoft sheet. So this is a spreadsheet, and this is just a group of math teachers that we have access. So I'm just going to open that up. It's coming up to my Google Drive right now, and it's going to be converted into a math into a sheet in Google Drive. And again, every time I upload a document, it goes into my drive, and if I scroll down here alphabetically, I should be able to find it. It's a math teacher, but my quickest way for when I have so many things in Drive is to do a quick search for it, and math teachers, and there it is there. And now I have it as a document in my Google Drive. So I'm going to just close that one out, but it just shows you how you can access certain things for accessing, uploading from your hard drive to Google Drive. So that is true of folders as well. Liz mentioned folders, and I could easily upload a new folder as well. Entire folders if you're transferring things from one document. So I could take this folder, which is my BTR folder, and I can upload an entire folder. So any documents that go in there can also be uploaded to my Google Drive as well. So as I said earlier, we can start using Google Drive as a real storage place to replace our physical hard drive and and any other portable storage devices, the USBs, etc. Liz, I think that I'm going to just talk a little bit about email and how we can send a Google Drive document through email as if it were an attachment. So I'm going to switch over to my email and then see if we have any more questions. I hope you're all getting into the forum. We will be posting this Google Hangout on the BPS Learns page. We do have a YouTube channel, and that's another thing that we get with Google. The digital learning team in BPS has started using the YouTube channel so we can produce screencasts and help people learn simple things and make them accessible for a lot of people. So I'm going to compose an email, and I want to send a document to a person from my Google Drive. So I'm going to send my colleague Nick Gonzalez. He and I have been working on some documents together, so I'm just going to do a BTR document here, and so I have the options when I'm in my Gmail, and if you haven't been using your BPS Gmail regularly, it is really worth using. It's easy to organize your email, and it's easy to retrieve your email. There's so many great benefits, but one of the things I like doing is attaching files to using my Drive. So you have your paperclip for an attach files option, and next to it is your Drive icon there. So I'm going to just click on the Drive icon, and I have access, and there's actually the BTR folder that I had just uploaded, and I'm going to choose that and insert it there so that Nick has access to that that Drive folder. And remember, one of the things you have to do on any on any document or any folder is to make sure that you've set the sharing permissions so that this person can either edit or view this document. So you can see that this Drive file isn't shared, so I'm going to give Nick access to edit that. And it's nice that that Google reminded me of that sharing option. So now Nick will be able to share to look at that and to edit that set of documents in Drive as well. So that's as easy as it gets for attaching a Google Drive doc to an email, and so it allows you to really access your Drive documents and send them along as an email. So we're going to, I'm going to just turn it over to Liz for a second and see if she wants to share something with you. And just hold on 1 second, Liz, as I turn it over. Okay.
Okay, we had a really good question over in the chat box about access and security, things like when you have a student support team meeting or an IEP meeting, and if you want to be sharing information about a student or a student's accommodations online, if Google is a good place to do that. And the answer is yes, you can certainly use Google to share information like that out to teams, and it is okay to do that within Google for BPS because we are a Google Apps for Education organization now, and so if you have your sharing settings locked down, it is safe to share information that may be sensitive about a student with your team. However, you are sharing it in the cloud, and it is secure information. And so as a general rule, something I would recommend for people is that it's not a bad idea to have a shared folder if you have a meeting coming up for a student and everybody needs to be able to access information for that student. Having a folder for that student that's shared out with people who are relevant to that student's work, who are their teachers, who are their support team, and then having that folder taken down after the meeting or having any really particularly sensitive information about the student taken out isn't a bad idea. So having things up temporarily and then keeping them stored, but maybe keeping them stored offline, maybe not in the cloud, isn't necessarily a bad idea. It's safe because we are a Google Apps for Ed organization, but you also wouldn't want that folder to get shared out with the wrong people or for that to somehow become shared out to all of BPS, for example. So if you're not comfortable with the sharing settings or if you're just wanting to share for the purposes of a meeting, that's maybe a good way to do it while everybody's still getting used to this system and making sure that things don't get shared inappropriately or until your school and your teams get really comfortable sharing things and making sure that all of your sharing settings are appropriately set up. That might be the best way to do it. I'm going to see if Ed has anything to add to that really quickly, though.
Liz, no, I think you hit it right in the money. Confidentiality and security are really important, so sharing things online, you want to be sure that you're not sharing real pertinent or personal information regarding your students. Okay. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen, Liz, if that's okay. Okay, we have one more question. I'm going to turn that back over to Liz for a second.
Okay, I got another really great question that I want to make sure I address because we sort of said it at the beginning, but I think we said it a little bit too quickly. There was a question that said, I want to be sure I heard something correctly. Is Google Drive synonymous with the cloud? Yes, Google Drive is part of the cloud, whatever that is. And lots of people hear the cloud, and that's kind of a scary thing because we're not quite sure. People hear the cloud and they're not sure where the cloud is or where things are going. We will share some resources related to what exactly the cloud is, but basically all the cloud is things getting shared in storage systems that are outside of your computer. So it's you storing something on an outside server that's not on your computer. That does mean that you don't know where any one file is officially hard stored or hard saved on a hard drive. You don't know where that's gone. So it's gone to some external server. Google's servers are presumably locked down to our organization, and so it's not necessarily that they're unsafe because they are on the cloud, but yes, they are on the cloud. So Google Drive is a cloud-based system. That's part of what allows us to have unlimited access within BPS or unlimited storage within BPS on our Google Drive is that it is a cloud-based system. So that's one of the things about Google that's particularly powerful. However, yes, it's a cloud system, and so you do need to keep in mind that anything you save there is going to go into the cloud and be stored on a space outside of your computer. That's both a good thing because it's going to be able to be backed up really easily. It's going to be saved. It's going to be automatically saved, and so you don't have to worry about losing it. However, it's not on your computer. It's not on your hard drive anymore. Okay, so it's going to be saved to an external drive somewhere.
Thanks, Liz. Nice point. I know those questions might seem like you've asked them before, but please don't hesitate to ask for reassurance on some of these definitions. It's important that we are clear about what the cloud is and what Google is as we continue these conversations in BPS. I hope that you've gained some information about Google Drive through this short seminar. It's a Google Hangout, and what we are looking for with people is this is part of Google Plus. And one of the things we want to introduce people to as we move forward, as exploring more and more Google tools, is how we can use Google Plus and the idea of communities in education in Boston Public Schools to connect with educators, to have learning happen beyond the school day, casually and informally, in the type of social communities that all these tools allow us to use. So we are ready to conclude this first session of our Google Drive training. We are also interested in hearing from you. We want to have a Google Hangout panel of teachers who are using Google in their classrooms, who might want to ask more questions about using Google in the classrooms, and would like to share that experience with other BPS teachers. So in a few weeks, we'll be hosting another Hangout with teachers on sharing some practices. We have a couple more Hangouts coming up. I think I'll turn it over to Liz so she can update you on a schedule that we have coming up with some learning activities. And I look forward to seeing you all soon and hearing from you. So please don't hesitate to reach out via email and explore BPS Learns or any other online blended and digital learning opportunity or question that you may have. Here you go, Liz. I'm going to turn it right back over to you along with this on your screen.
Okay. So Ed gave me this. He muted himself before he finished the whole thought, but he gave me the screen and he also gave me the mic back. So I'm going to show you something really quickly, actually. Hold on one second. Mary Gina asked an excellent question about how to share something if it is shared with you via email. So, all right, I'm screen sharing. Hold on. So let's say somebody shares a document with you via email, and you have editing privileges and they have editing privileges, or maybe you share something with them via email and they have editing privileges, and now all of you have this document and you can all edit it on your email, right? So then how do you find it later? Or what the question that she asked, how do you get it back to them? Okay, so that's a great question. The good news is you don't have to get it back to them or get it back yourself because it's already shared with them and with you and everybody has it in their drive. The question is, where did it go? It went into your cloud drive and it's like disappeared off into the cloud there somewhere, and so you need to find it again. So let's see, Ed shared this linking Google Docs to Aspen folder with me. Or file with me. I don't want to look at that one actually. I want to look at the Snow Days one. So he shared the Snow Days folder with me and he gave me a link to it earlier today, and I opened it in Documents, and we all, let's say we had a meeting about Snow Days and we recorded our thoughts on the meeting here in this document, and then it was in my drive, but then meeting ended and we all closed out this document. But then 3 days later, we have another meeting about Snow Days, and we all want to get back into this document. How do we get back into it? The best way to do this, if you didn't save it when you were in it, is to be in your drive and to search it. So if you knew that the document was called Snow Days, and your colleagues can do this too because you shared the document with them and they had editing privileges, so it automatically saved everything. So I would just look for Snow Days, and it automatically pops up here. And then I can go right back into the document. And if I want to make sure I don't lose it again, let's say I've revisited this 3 times and I've had to search for it every single time, then now's the time you know you want to save it. So if you've gone looking for the same document a few times, you might want to go ahead and put it in an organizational system. So you might want to move it to a folder and organize where it goes. And if you need to, you can create a new folder. So this is where that little folder icon that I talked about earlier that's up in the left-hand corner comes in really, really handy. Because if it's a document that you know you're going to want to save, when you have your colleagues in a meeting, or if you're in the process of trying to find a document that you know somebody made once upon a time. Once you have found it in that search bar, go ahead and save it. Create an organizational system and start maintaining that. And over time, you'll be able to find things a little bit more quickly because you'll be able to locate it in a common folder. Another way to do it is before you ever share a document with anybody, create a folder for it and create the document within that folder. So I can show you how to do that really quickly. So let's say I have a team of people and I know I'm going to share a lot of documents with them. Let's say this is the 7th grade team. I'm going to create a folder for my 7th grade team. There it is. And if I go into this folder, I can share it with people. Let's see. Share. I'm going to share my 7th grade team folder with Ed. I don't have a 7th grade team at the moment. I'm going to tell him that this is our 7th grade team folder. We'll pretend we're 7th grade teachers. And within this folder, I can create a Google document. And because I was in the folder when I created the document, it's going to automatically share it with my team. So they're going to be able to find this, and they're going to be able to find the folder because I already shared the folder with them. So I could call this meeting on 2/3 about snow days. And then we could have our meeting about snow days. The notes on snow days. And Ed from my 7th grade team is going to be able to find this agenda breakdown or these notes from our meeting on the 3rd of February about snow days because it's going to be in our folder, and he could search for it and he could find the folder for our 7th grade team and find any documents that we create within it. So as long as you're within the folder for the 7th grade team, whenever you create a new document or a new sheet or a new set of slides, it's going to automatically share that document with your entire team. So that's a really great way to set up sharing settings right away before you ever even make a document so that people can find it. But if you've made a document in Drive and you've shared it with the appropriate people, they should be able to search their Drive and find it after that, no matter what. They don't need to go retrieve it or go find it again or create another one. You don't have to give them access to it again. It should automatically show up in their Drive. That's one of the great things about Drive is that things don't get lost, but what can make that feel a little unwieldy sometimes is that then you have a lot of documents in there from people who have shared things with you over the years and it feels disorganized. So one of the best ways to start dealing with that feeling is to start organizing things yourself within your Drive. Okay. Let me jump over here and see if we have any other questions. And I'm not seeing any right this minute, but you can stay in there. We'll stick in the chat for a few more minutes if there are follow-up questions that you have or any other questions that you want us to address in the next session. I'm going to go ahead and tell you what some of our next couple of sessions are going to be so that you can be ready to join us next time. I'm going to stop my screen share here and turn on my camera so I can say goodbye to everybody. Okay, so thank you for joining us. Our next session is going to be next week, and we're going to get into some of the more advanced things in Google Drive. Actually, a number of you asked some really great questions today that got us into a few of those advanced settings a little early, and so we'll talk a lot about shared folders, how to organize shared folders, how to get Google Drive sort of set up so that it can maximize your productivity and your planning and your own organization and your work as an educator. And that will be next week, same day on Tuesday at 4 o'clock in the evening. We'll have a chat box just like we did today. We'll do the recorded hangout on Google just like we did today, and it'll be accessible after we're done as well. And then 2 weeks, and then the next week we have break, and so we won't be having a Google Hangout that day. But the week after that, we're going to have a panel of teachers talking about how they're using Google Drive and Google Apps for education with their students. And that will be a great opportunity to learn about how you take your own new knowledge of Google Drive and you transfer it into your work with students who can really benefit a lot building their own digital skills and digital writing in Google. By doing some of their writing in Google Drive, by doing collaborative work in Google Docs and Google Presentations. And so we'll be sharing some really cool stuff in Google Drive and with teachers over the next few weeks. And then something to look forward to, we'll have more details on this in a couple of weeks, is we're hoping to have a face-to-face workshop on Google and do some breakout sessions for people who are at different levels of using Google and understanding Google Drive. And we'll be doing that at the end of February. We're not 100% sure where we'll be doing that yet, or how to have you sign up for that yet. We're hoping it will be in my learning plan along with the rest of these webinars. And so that's another Google Learning opportunity that will be coming up if you are interested in that. So thank you so much for joining us. We are so glad that we can have you. I'm going to kick it back over to Ed and let him say goodbye really quickly. But I was thrilled to do this and be here with all of you and to hear your questions. And we hope that more of you and all of you who were here today can join us next time. Thank you.
Thanks, Liz. I just want to close out by saying thank you, too, for joining us today. And as we get started on this learning series, we want to encourage you to spread the word about these learning opportunities with colleagues, and perhaps try to bring a friend, a colleague with you next time and learn together. There are lots of opportunities and lots of questions you might have, and sitting there with a colleague or joining a colleague in conversation after the session is over will only increase the benefits of it. So thank you again for joining us, and we look forward to a lot more learning opportunities with you as we try to build out communities of people who are using Google effectively in BPS. And just a quick shout out to Paul Tritter and the BTU effort to provide teachers with learning opportunities in Google Drive as well. I know that they're hosting a series of learning opportunities as well, and so I hope that we can all get on board with some of these learning opportunities and become more proficient at sharing, creating, collaborating, and connecting online using Google. So have a great night, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your snow day, and see you all tomorrow at BPS. Take care.